Hi, mindful parents. It's Christine Pedersen talking this week about how we can motivate our kiddos to be more helpful. This was one of my missions for this summer as my kiddos opted out of childcare. At age 6 and 8, we talked a little bit about what our summer would look like if we enrolled them in childcare versus doing some creative camps here and there and lots of travel and independent time for them. They knew going into the summer that they were going to be required to have a little bit more responsibility, initiative, and they would need to be cooperative. So that was actually really beneficial because now if I'm starting to feel a little bit frustrated, and yesterday was one of those days, by the mess and my needing to ask them over and over again to do things, I remind them, hey, at the beginning of the summer, we made an agreement that you would get to stay home, have more freedom and flexibility in your day, and you would take on more responsibility and be more independent and cooperative. And little light bulbs go on and they say, oh, yes. And they're a lot more helpful when I ask. So every once in a while, they need a little bit of a reminder about our agreement. But generally speaking, the premise of my toddler mindful parenting program and my sleep packages is that children are intrinsically motivated. It is an innate desire for all of us as humans to be an important part of our community, our family, and that means taking on responsibility, being cooperative, and responsible for our own health, well-being, and things. And I know that there are some times when there is absolutely zero evidence of that. So don't worry if you're like, well, every other kid on the face of the planet might be those things, Christine, but not my kid, then just know that that is normal, right? And there was a point when I was like, okay, I know this is true. So am I raising psychopaths? Because they don't seem to be falling into this like intrinsic motivation thing. But just like us, there are barriers to motivation for kiddos. So if there is a lot of nagging or demanding or things are even worded in a way that doesn't invite them or motivate them to get on board with the teamwork that needs to happen, then there might be some button pushing and some pushback and some boundary testing. So ways that our family has really found to motivate kids and inspire them to do this work intrinsically has been sort of twofold. My husband is really good at getting playful. So he has a couple of different go-to strategies that he uses to be really silly. And of course, the kids just want to hang out with him and they get on board and clean up the yard or put away the dishes and things like that. So playfulness is really, really helpful. I tend not to be, playful is not my go-to. I love playing with my kiddos, but that's usually not in a situation where we need to get stuff done. So I tend to go the win-then route or the as soon as route. One of the things I've really had to train myself to do is to stop saying, no, you can't do that until you clean your room. Absolutely not. The craft room is trashed. So there's no TV today or no play dates today, no riding your scooters today. It's really easy to just crush your kids' motivation with statements like that. And to be honest, I don't actually know what the magical fairy dust is in the win-then statement, but it works. In fact, I will tell you that there are times when my kids will be like, Mom, can we play video games? And I'm like, no, the house is trashed. You got to clean up your fort. And then I say, wait, stop. Let's pretend I didn't say that. And I am going to say, when your fort is cleaned up, then you're welcome to watch a show. or play video games. And that, maybe you heard it, right? As you listen to that when-then statement. But it feels totally different to our children than when we say, you got to do this first. Same message? Absolutely, right? We have expectations that need to get met as part of our family team before we can do this. And my husband and I are often modeling this idea too, right? We play hard and then we clean up after ourselves before we rest and relax or go to bed for the evening. So other examples, as soon as is another great way to illustrate the same idea. Mom, can we have a play date with so-and-so? As soon as the craft room is cleaned up, then you can get on your scooter and go over to so-and-so's house and see if they can play. What's another common question in our household? Oh, they always want to do like moon sand or Play-Doh, which in my mind just means I'm going to have to like vacuum or sweep and mop the floor wherever they end up doing that. So I know when they're asking for that I'm signing myself up for some work. So I'm realistic about that. I might say, the craft room is a real mess right now. So if you want to get the Play-Doh out or the moon sand out, that craft room needs to look amazing. When the craft room's cleaned up, then you can get the Play-Doh out and I'll help you clean up the Play-Doh when you're done. So when-thens and as soon as statements are really helpful for encouraging your kiddos to get on board with being part of the team. The other thing that I do when I come to a room that my kiddos have just cleaned, or for example, we had a fort yesterday and I am not a fan of forts because I feel like I always end up cleaning them up in a fit of irritation because there's no dining room chairs available to use. They're all in the fort and it's dinner time. And I told them, you will need to clean up the fort before dinner time. As long as you can do that without protest, I'm fine for you to build a fort. When they did clean the fort and I said, I'm making dinner, so that fort needs to come down. Will you please make sure that everything gets put away? And we're ready for dinner. And they did it. It wasn't quick. And, but they didn't complain. And best of all, they didn't ask for my help. I had said, I will not help you put the fort away. That needs to be an independent cleanup activity. So they did it independently. And then when I went upstairs to see the fort being put away, I made sure to use the magic word, which is team. Thank you, ladies. It is so great to have you in our family team. When we come together as a team to get stuff done, I'm making dinner and you're making sure the table's all cleaned up and the fort's put away. Everything feels so much better. And then sometimes I will like tickle them and ask them like, how does it feel? How does it feel to be part of a team? And we usually have a silly little moment. Now, do I do that every day? No, I don't. I do it when, again, there's a big ask that I'm seeing their independence, their cooperation, and their responsibility really shining through. And I want to honor that. I want to like mark it in their brain, right? So we give that sort of extraordinary reward beyond just a thank you. When we thank them for being a member of our team and we have some sort of physical contact or connection with them. So offering a high five, offering a hug, offering some tickles as a way of acknowledging their hard work actually helps the brain to feel that reward a little bit more intensely. So if you really want to hammer home the gratitude that you have for their independence, responsibility, and cooperation, you will use those words to honor it. And then you will have some sort of physical touch. We are wired as humans to connect, touch down into our hearts. So our nervous system responds to that touch. I highly recommend that you consciously utilize that tool as well. So remembering that they're intrinsically motivated to help out and be part of a team, using when-then statements and as soon as statements to change the way that it sounds when you make a request for them to help you. And then rewarding that help, just as we love appreciation from the people on our team, whether it be work or in our neighborhood or with our partnership in our family or our extended family. Acknowledge your kiddos and really send that message home with some physical touch. Those are my suggestions. I really am excited for you to try them and then share in the comments how it seemed to help your family. How's everything going this summer? How many forts do you think your children have built over the course of the past 2 months? Oh, thank you for being here. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and we'll check in next week. Bye-bye.